All right, aloha gang. First of all, thank you for having me here. I love being with you guys. As you know, I love the product that you have, and especially the training that you give to the docs that I have referred to you. So thank you for having me. So here's the deal. What I want to do is I want to jump into this information, and regardless of what your profession is, I don't care if you're a chiropractor, a naturopath, an osteopath, an acupuncturist, a medical doctor, a veterinarian, a physical therapist, it doesn't matter. If you're wanting to use Shockwave, then most likely you want to help your patients. You want to help them not just feel better, but you want to help them really resolve their underlying issues versus masking their symptoms while they rot to death. We also want to get paid well for what we do, right? Most of us. And we want to make sure that what we're doing is best for our patients. My main focus is I work with doctors, practitioners who want to help their patients get healthy and stay healthy and have the best life possible. That's my main focus. I do every aspect of coaching in every system, every aspect. Specifically, what we're going to be talking about today is how do I bring Shockwave successfully into my practice. Now, when I talk with doctors who are bringing anything into their practice, whether it's Shockwave, a new technique, whether they're going to start using nutrition, doing functional medicine, whether they're using a different kind of therapy, anything. It doesn't matter. The concerns that come up are I've brought in other things and I've crashed my practice. I've brought in other things and I found that they don't want to pay for it. So we have concerns they won't want to pay for Shockwave, or they'll pay for the Shockwave, but now they're not going to pay for whatever else I do, right? They're not going to pay for chiropractic or naturopathy or whatever it is that you do. And my goal today is to help us learn how to bring it into our practice very, very quickly and very effectively. So that's the goal for today. Now, I've helped a whole lot of doctors bring Shockwave into their practice. Last time, what we talked about was how to communicate it in a way so our patients get what we do, they want what we offer, they happily stay, pay, and refer for a lifetime. And we talked about how to bundle it. So I personally do chiropractic care and I do nutrition. How do I bundle that with Shockwave? Do I just do Shockwave alone? Well, the truth is most people could benefit from Shockwave and nutrition and chiropractic. So how do I bundle it? So if you're at all interested in understanding the neuroscience of communications and the discussion that we have, I believe that they're going to have a link that you can also go watch that one. But again, today what we want to do is we want to look at how do we bring this into our practice without losing patients? How do we bring this into our practice and successfully have more demand than supply? So right now, about a third of my practices that I coach are waitlisted, meaning there's more demand than supply. They have more patients than they can handle. And that's what I want to see happen for you. Okay. And then at the end, if you stick around, we'll answer any and all questions. So for Gustave and Gerhard, any questions, any comments before we jump in?
No, thank you for having this webinar for us, Dr. Rosen. We greatly appreciate it. And we know patients come to you, they have a problem, and they basically rely on the practitioners to assess them, find out what the problem is, and get them healthy. And then once they're healthy, they want to keep living a healthy life. And that's why we have the practitioners that we want to get them going.
Beautiful. Good. I agree. Gustave, anything before we jump in?
No, I appreciate you doing this for us, and I'm excited to hear what the insight that you bring. I hear it time and time again, like, how do I implement this? So I think this will be really good for most practitioners, and I think you have a very good way of explaining it, so I'm excited for this.
Perfect. Okay. So again, how do I communicate it? How do I help them see the value of it? How do I bundle it in a report of findings? That was the last one. This one right here, how do I bring it into my practice? Okay. So the first thing I want to do is look at an overview of marketing. Marketing really is everything. It's everything you think, say, do. It's everything on your walls, right? It's possibly outside marketing, social media, radio, TV, asking for referrals, internal events. But marketing, really, there's a whole lot to marketing. But I want to break it down into these 3 simple steps. Step 1, clarify who your niche market is, or who your niche markets or niche markets are. In essence, who do I like to work with? Step 2 is clarify the sticky message that would interest those people. And then step 3 is, how do I get the message in front of those people? So my question to both of you would be this: what would be a classic niche, and I'll call it niche, or niche, whatever you guys like, but what would be classic niche markets for who we can help people with Shockwave?
Well, as I'm sitting here in a little ski resort, I would say sports medicine. So any kind of sports injury, be it skiing, pickleball, baseball, I mean, whatever the sport is, I think that's a top-notch position for the Shockwave.
Absolutely. Gerhard, anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I mean, you probably want to also find out patients that have chronic pain for a long time. They might have already tried alternative option that didn't function, didn't work. So they're looking for what else is out there. What else can we do to get me out of pain, to get me going?
Yeah. So the problem, you're looking to resolve problem. People now are starting to think in a different way. If you watch the Senate hearings, I mean, if you've been watching what's going on and what's going to be going on, is more and more people are looking for health care, not disease care, not just for symptom management, but they're looking to really resolve their underlying issues. Well, that's where we come in, right? That's our forte. When it comes to just getting rid of pain, morphine is way better than any of what any of us do, right? And I'm really good at what I do, right? But I'm not as good as morphine or any of those wonderful drugs that they have when you need those. But when it comes to resolving issues, helping people get healthy and stay healthy, that's where we come in. So you would start off with who's my niche market? And chiropractors are famous for saying, if they have a spine and they're still breathing, I can help them. Yes, that's true. But marketing to everyone is like marketing to no one, right? Going to a bar and standing at the bar saying, I help people get healthy and stay healthy. You're not going to get as good of a response as if, let's say, your niche market is left-handed, red-headed golfers. And there was a magazine or there was a big conference of left-handed, red-headed golfers, right? I'd get a much bigger response. So the smaller the niche market, the bigger the response. So for sure, chronic issues. For sure, any DJD, any joint issues. For sure, any athletics. Okay, good. Now, in my world, when I'm working with doctors, I say, that's who I'm going to market to. Okay. Can I also see their friends and family? Yes. Right. I coach doctors. One doctor I coach, Dr. Medina, does gut and thyroid issues. That's all he works with, period. He doesn't see friends and family. He just gut and thyroid. That's it. Right? So it just depends on how you want to practice. But you want to be very clear about who you help, what you're good at. Okay? Now, what would be a sticky message? So Gustave, for an athlete, what would be a sticky message for an athlete?
Basically, I mean, what I would probably say is, let's just take a baseball player. Have you been having problems with your elbow for 6 months? Come and see me. Let me make you better.
Okay, fair enough. So I would agree with everything you just said. I seem to think in terms of 3 for some odd reason. So if I was in front of a group of athletes and I said, if I could help you have more personal bests, prevent injuries, and when you do injure yourself, recover faster, would that interest you?
Oh,
Would I be
100%.
speaking? Yeah, I'd be speaking their language. right? If I was speaking, Gerhard, say to the elderly, what would be three things that the elderly with chronic problems would perk their ears up?
If they can live their life or their daily without or less pain, more mobility, they can go and meet their friends and have a good time. This would be what they typically love to do.
Absolutely. So if I can get rid of this pain, if I could be more functional and do the things I want to be able to do, and the big one is if I can take care of myself. I don't want to end up in an old age home. I don't want to be able to not take care of myself. I don't want someone else to have to wipe my butt, right? Now, for you young folks, you think I'm goofing off here. The older you get, the more you recognize. The more older people I have in my life, the more I recognize that's a big deal for them. So if you could speak that language to them, would that interest them? Yes, absolutely. So as far as marketing, who are my niche markets? And again, it can be that and everyone they know, family and friends. Then I need to know this sticky message, and then I got to learn how to get the message in front of them. Now, just a quick review from our last talk that we gave, and again, you guys can access that, and I go into way more detail. In my way of explaining Shockwave, I'm always going to use the neuroscience of communications, which we're not going to talk about right now, but we did in that video, and I can't recommend enough that you watch it. And we also talk about in the neuroscience of communications, we're using Socratic questions, we're using stories, and we're using metaphors. That's getting past their reptilian brain into the neocortex for thinking, reasoning, and problem solving, and it drops into the limbic system as a new belief system, right? So you've all got, kind of ites. I have Rosenites. You got Smithites. Those are people that they got it. They really understood it. And what we went through last time shows you how to get them to get it. Now, the story, the metaphor that I like using for Shockwave is we talk about if your kitchen burnt down. So your kitchen burnt down, it's on fire. What's the first thing you need to do? Well, you need to put the fire out, right? So we need to put the fire out. What does Shockwave do? Step one, decreases inflammation, puts the fire out. Step two, I need to rebuild the kitchen. I got to get rid of the bad material, burnt material, waterlogged material, and then I need to bring in new material, increase blood supply to the area, get rid of bad stuff, bring in the good stuff. And then the third thing is I need to be able to have a blueprint so I can rebuild a new kitchen. Okay? Stem cells. So if I'm giving a talk, if I'm talking with a patient, they're going to understand that basic story. They're going to understand that basic metaphor that that's what happens. You've got this elbow problem. It's not been getting better. Think of a house, a kitchen that burnt down. We need to decrease the inflammation. We need to bring the good stuff, get rid of the bad stuff. Then we need a blueprint, stem cells, to rebuild this area. That way it's not just feeling better. We're not masking those symptoms with a shot of cortisone, decreasing blood supply to the area, right? We're actually helping you resolve and rebuild. Gerhard, is what I just said true?
Yes, definitely. I mean, if need to get the pain out, the inflammation out, bring the materials in and start to rebuild it, and also support the surrounding structure. If I had problems for such a long time, there might be just one particular point that gives me problems, but the surrounding structure needs to be able to support it.
Absolutely. And that's where chiropractor making sure they're getting proper nerve supply, taking a look, if their pelvis is off, could that affect their shoulder? Yes. Right? If their atlas is off, can that affect their knee? Yes. Right? Nutrition. Might there be some specific nutrients that would be of great value for these people also? Yes. So last time we talked about how do we bring it into the fold of what we do and how do we bundle it, right? But in this particular case, we're just looking at that particular story. So 3 steps. Number 1, who do I want to market to? Niche markets. And you can have as many niche markets as you want, but you only market one campaign to one person, right? I definitely wouldn't be marketing to athletes and to pregnant women unless they were pregnant women athletes, right? But that's how that works. Step two, what is the message that will interest them? And then how do I get the message out? Well, there are 4 ways I can get the message out. 1, internally, inside of my office. 2, externally, outside of my office. 3, reactivations. It's inside my office, but I like to separate that out. And then 4 would be the wild, wild west called social media. Okay, now, my experience is it is easier to sell someone something that they want versus trying to make them buy something they don't want to buy. And I can tell you from 25 years of coaching natural healthcare providers, when it comes to a technology, i.e. Shockwave, it is much easier to sell that than it is to sell, let's just say, chiropractic. Here's what I mean by that. I've worked with many, many, many doctors over the years that tell me I can't get my Medicare patients to pay their $20 copay, but they'll bring in $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 cash, and they'll pay for their disc issue, decompression, shockwave, laser, that kind of thing, right? So it's really easy. It's easy to sell this as long as you understand it and you can help them. You bring the right people in, you can help them value it. Okay, so let's take a look. Internal, external reactivations and social media. All right, I have a basic axiom that goes like this. All new patients come from one thing. All new patients come from one thing. Guys, any idea what I'm thinking?
Someone referred them to you, they found you and were referred because you are the best of what you're doing for their solution, for their problem.
Okay,
Find a
I'm with you.
solution for their problem.
I'm with you, but they may have come from an ad also. So, but behind that is what?
Your own knowledge?
Yeah, and behind that is
Education?
yeah. You guys you're right there. But here's the deal. It comes from energy. It comes from excitement.
Yep.
If you are excited and you are passionate, people come out of the woodwork. I have a course that I take all my doctors through, the importance of certainty. Every single time we go through that course, 100% of the time, people come from the woodwork. They just come out from the woodwork. Why? Because they're passionate, they're aligned, they're excited. All new patients come from energy. If you're passionate and you're excited. So step 1, get your team on board. Get your team passionate, get them excited, help them understand the value of Shockwave in relationship to everything else you do. Again, if you're a chiropractor and you're adjusting this area over and over and over and over again, and it's not resolving, and the wrist isn't resolving, and you finally start to also deal with the wrist, maybe an adjustment, but certainly Shockwave to here, will this finally have a better chance of resolving? Yes. And again, we talked about a lot of that last time. So that's how that works. I need your team on board. I need them passionate. I need them excited. I need them to have gone through the last video that we did so they know how to communicate it with other people. Now I can take a look and I can say, how do I bring that energy and excitement into the practice? Well, if you haven't brought it into the practice yet, one of the things that I like to do is make a big deal that I'm going to this seminar, right? I am, the mustache hair. I am going to this seminar. I'm very, very excited. I have been wanting this for years. This is a technology that has been in Europe for what, 30, 40 years, something like that, but is finally making it out here to the United States. And I'm so excited about this. Banner, balloons, flyers, right? Make a big deal out of this. Let people know the story about the fire right? Let them know that this is why I'm bringing this in. Start to talk with them about why I think this is really going to be good for you. You've got this going on. I think this is really going to help. I'm really excited. Okay. And we'll talk about, you can cherry pick and you can inner circle all kinds of things. We'll get to that in a minute. But that's where I want to start off, is just inside right off the bat. Now, the next thing that I can do is I can, again, before I go to the seminar, or right now, you just got back, or you've been doing it for a while and you're just not where you want to be. You don't have more demand than you have supply, which is what I want for you. I recommend, and I've had almost all of my doctors that I coach that use Shockwave do this, is come up with a very short survey. And that survey is basically for us to better serve you. We have this new technology that we might be able to help you, that we're very excited about. Do you happen to have any pain, tingling, numbness, etc., in your neck, shoulder, arms, elbow, wrist, legs, knee, hip, ankle? Do you have any of these things going on? Have you been diagnosed with any kind of bone issues, any degenerative joint disease, any kind of arthritis? If you've checked any of the above, is it affecting any of your daily life? Are you needing medication? Do you have less mobility? Is it affecting your work, your home, anything at home, play, sleep, relationships, exercise? Is it affecting you in any of these ways? And then, have you been diagnosed with bone or joint disease, with DJD? I just mentioned that. If so, you might be a candidate for care. Anything you guys would add to that short survey?
I really love the ideas with the survey. And I mean, the only thing what I would probably ask or suggest, if you, before patients leave your praxis, ask them for the service. The next time they come back in, ask them for the survey. Just doesn't need 20 questions, just needs 2, 3, maximum 5 questions. How did you feel today after you when you're leaving? How did you feel right now after the last visit? So that basically gives you a nice feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Gustave, anything you'd add?
No, I mean, just a pre and post score of like, hey, what discomfort level were you in before? And then maybe even like afterwards, before they leave again, just like an open-ended question. And then before they come back on the second time, like, hey, how are you feeling? How was it last time? It
Perfect.
was just kind of communication. So
And all of that, I agree 100%, would be after they've had a session. This one is just to see if they're a candidate for it. I'm
yeah,
just checking, are you a candidate? I'm going to the seminar and I'm going to be waitlisted. We have way, way more people that are going to need this than I have space for. But because, Gustav, what's going on with you, I want to get you in right away. So fill this survey out. Let's see if you're a candidate, that kind of thing. So we're just trying to stoke that fire ahead of time. Or you're already back, right? You're already using it, and I'm going to find out. Now, last time we talked about touch, tell, ask, and teach. Oftentimes if you do have a subluxation causing this kind of wrist issue or related to this wrist issue, we'll see a tender spot there, is a tender there. Boy, I think we might have found an underlying cause of your problem, but you've also got this going on here. So we're going to use Shockwave to help with this and this. We're going to help chiropractic to help with this. We'll use nutrition to help with that. So we talked about that last time. You would use that, but you're using it with your patients and you're making it personal to them. It isn't, hey, Gustav, I'm so excited we have this new technology and it's going to help me make a lot of money, so I want you to use it. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying, Gustav, you have this going on that I believe this technology is really going to help you with. I'm excited because of this. So the whole trick is to make it personal to them. Stories, metaphors, they are the story, right? Do you remember from last time, we draw their story out of them and we apply our story to their story. I'm not trying to teach you or educate you. I just simply apply my story to your story. If I can help them understand how Shockwave will be good for their issue, that's all they need. They don't need to know all the details of Shockwave. They don't care. right? So we can do a survey, we can do during the adjustment, hey, listen, you have this going on, so I'm going to recommend that you get set up to do, this evaluation or this, free event or this free session, or you come to our workshop or whatever it is. Okay, so my favorite thing to do, and I know especially since 2020, so many people don't want to do live talks. But I'm telling you, after 25 years of coaching, and I did 56 talks a year for 12 years. So just trust me on this. The offices that do a series of talks end up with more demand than supply. They have more patients than they can ever handle, and those patients that come in sign up for care. In my talk, I'm going through before and after case studies. I'm showing how often they needed to come in, how much it cost for them to come in, right? I'm showing before and after. I'm having people there telling their story. So imagine that, like in our world, we talk about, do you just want to feel better or do you really want to get healthy and stay healthy? Imagine they already understood all that. Imagine they understood around how much care it would take. Imagine they understood how much it would cost. And now they come in to see you, how much easier visit one and visit two become. So I love bringing people to the workshop. In the workshop, if we're doing a Shockwave workshop, now you doctor can do it, or you can have your technician, whatever you call them, do it, whoever. But I would talk about fire department, inflammation, blood supply, bringing the good stuff, get rid of the bad stuff, blueprint, stem cells. I would talk about that. I would then get somebody up and I would pray to the seminar workshop gods. And I'd say, bring me the person that I can show big change with right here. And you get someone and they go like this, and then you do that and they go like that, and you go, does that feel any different? And they say yes. Now, what question must I ask the person in the crowd when they say that it feels better? Gustav, what do I have to ask them?
Long lasting, like, so basically my mind's going like, hey, do you think is this something that you would pay for? How much would you pay for to get better,
I
like
like
in
that.
that one
I like
treatment?
I like it. It's not where I would go with it, but I like that. And I would do that after. But the first thing I have to do is I have to ask everybody, okay, so it felt better. Did we decrease some of the inflammation? Put a little bit of the fire out? Yes. Did we bring in and get rid of? No. Did we stem cell? No. So is it better? No, it's not. Like, I've got to be very clear that it felt better. I don't want to become an expensive aspirin. They can do that with aspirin, right? So they need to know in that process where they're at. They need to know that stem cells 90 days before you're really getting the benefit of those things. So if you don't want to just feel better, but you want to resolve the issues, then you're going to be at least 90 days, right? Or at least in my world, however that is for each doctor. But I need to ask everyone there. And when you ask everyone, they're going to go, oh, yeah, right. So that's just putting out a little bit of the inflammation. It's not really helping resolve it. Right. So when you come into our office, you have an opportunity, more resolution, or just feel better, knowing it's going to come back. And it's up to you. And they go, oh, okay, cool. I think I want that. Right. I want to resolve it. See, it's a Socratic question, getting them to recognize what it is that they want. Okay. So if they understand that, I need to then bring up. So let me ask you a question. In fact, Gustav, I'll ask you this. If your shoulder is now feeling a little bit better, and now I happen to do AK type testing or motor testing, so I do supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and I do those tests. And before they were all weak, and now there's one or two that are a bit stronger, but it feels better, and there's more range of motion. And I say to you, Gustav, if we leave it there and we don't do any more, what do you expect is going to happen over time?
I would expect that it would probably get worse again.
I'd agree.
Because, I mean, you're not strengthening the area, you're not really doing anything, you're just kind of putting a band-aid on it. And overall, yeah, over time it will just get worse again.
I'd agree.
I mean, the thing is, did you had your did you had your problem just since yesterday, or did you had your chronic pain for a long time? So if it just happened yesterday, we might can get it back quicker. But if you had it for a long time, it takes like a care package to get you better.
Absolutely. Any and all, those are the conversations that we want to have. But you can't tell them. You got to ask them. Again, we talked about that in the last one. So just let them know, look, the ambers are still there. You're going to recatch fire. It's not gliding correct. I can tell because these are still weak, right? So we're going to need to do this. We need to do that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So those are things that I can do in a workshop. Now, obviously, I could do the same thing one-on-one. I happen to like one-to-many better than one-on-one, but we could be doing free sessions that people get to experience. You can do recorded, so you could record a workshop like that and have people watch it. It works. It's kind of like whoever your favorite band is, watch them on TV or go to a live concert. That's the difference between a video and live. Does video work? Yes. As good as live? Not even close. And then you can do demo sessions, right? So you've got these people, they filled out a survey, you can get a demo session, right? Or I've been working with you, Gustave, and I know that you've got this going on. Because this is going on, I'm so excited for you to be able to do this. We'd like to give you a demo session. So all of that can happen, but those are the conversations that need to happen. Okay, so internally, we can obviously give special offers, right? During the month of, it could be any friends or family, come to the class, do a free demo, whatever. But those are things that we would do inside of the office. I have a presentation that I have patients watch that goes through what we do in this office. And one of the slides would be on Shockwave. It would be, here's something we use, and this is why we use it. This is something that separates us from the herd, right? So that's another thing that we can do inside of the office. Okay. Another thing, and you guys have a bunch of really good stuff. You could do a series of emails. You can do a series of posts, right, to your entire list. Grand opening launch, special offers. It's in your marketing portal. I read through all your stuff. It's all great. Come to our class and experience it. We'll be doing a workshop, right? Set a time for a free demo session, and of course, getting flyers out, all that kind of stuff. Those are things that can happen inside of the office. And then, of course, learning how to ask for referrals. I'm going to give you all a link you can go to. You can get a free month in my club. And in my club, I've got a whole ton of information. I've got this and how to use it in case you actually want to get that. I've got my course on referrals, how to ask for referrals. Most people don't know how to ask for referrals. If you guys ever want, we can go into a very detailed version of how to get referrals. I'd be happy to do it. But I have kind of a tightened up version of that in this club. So I'll be giving you guys a link and you can go do that. But those are things that we can do inside of the office. And obviously, in my world, by the end of the first year, if you're coaching with me, I don't want you having to do anything outside. I want it to be 100% internal referrals and waitlisted. That's my goal. Doesn't always happen, but that's my goal. Okay, so before we move on to external and social media, is there anything you guys wanted to add to that of what to do inside the office?
Yeah, for example, inside the office, you probably have a lot of patients seen over the years. They might not be active, they might be passive patients that you have not seen for a long time. And if you try to activate them again, let them know that you have some new technology, that you finally have something that can help them. So get those people back into your office.
We'll be diving into that in a few minutes. I'm sorry, I separated that out as reactivation. So I agree with you
Okay.
100%, but we'll dive into that in just a bit. Anything else otherwise inside of the office?
No, I mean, from my end, I just think it's key that everybody on the staff knows what Shockwave is. So, I mean, be it the front office lady who answers the phone, she needs to be able to explain it in simple terms just to draw them in to the clinic. But as long, again, it just comes back down to education again.
Absolutely. And again, we went through last time, and I can't recommend you guys go through it, but how do you explain it very quickly? So those are things you want to do. They got to be excited. They need to understand it. Okay, so now let's look at external and social media. So look, it's a wild, wild west. If you think of external, there's radio, there's TV, there's outside talks, there's a million things you can do. There's the general offer type ads that you can do, social media ads. Those can be for chiropractic or naturopathy or functional meta nutrition or whatever it is you do. And when they get in, you help them understand they would also want Shockwave. Because remember, no one ever comes to see you for chiropractic or nutrition or Shockwave. No one ever comes to see you for that. Gerhard, what do they come to see you for?
They come to see you to make them better.
That's
They,
it.
they have some problems and they want have some make them better and help them to live a better life without any discomfort.
That's why they're there. So like I have it all the time. I have doctors, I do a lot of brain-based stuff. Well, I use, neurofeedback, and they're coming in for neurofeedback. No, they're not. They're coming in for Shockwave. No, they're not. But that's what our ad was. Our ad was for neurofeedback. Trust me, they're not coming in for neurofeedback. They're not coming in for Shockwave. They're coming in because they want to feel better. They're coming in for results. Your job is to find out what's going on. Look at the arrows in your quiver, the tools in your toolbox, and then help them understand what you have that may be best for them. So for most people that come in for whatever they have going on, whatever your main thing is, I'm just going to call it chiropractic for me, possibly nutrition, Shockwave. That would probably be of benefit for most everybody. But of course, I'm going to customize it for each person. Now, you might have people coming in specifically for Shockwave from an ad. And again, that can drive them to chiropractic. Lots and lots of docs that I coach, we do it that way. I personally, we talked about last time, integrating it as much as possible. And there are different ways of doing that. We'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. You can, I'm going to recommend this many chiropractic visits, this much nutrition, and this much Shockwave. You could say, I'm going to recommend this much chiropractic visits, and I'm going to recommend that we do a Shockwave to see how your body responds. You can say, I'm going to recommend this much chiropractic, and then in a month, we're going to do a reevaluation to see if you need Shockwave. You flip that around. People that are just coming in for Shockwave, start with Shockwave and let them know. Dr. Miller, you guys know Dr. Miller. He is so deeply waitlisted, he just simply cannot handle his load. We've just brought on an associate, but we just can't handle the load. And he has Shockwave. So we bring people in for Shockwave, and they start on a care plan of Shockwave, and they get on the wait list so that if they're going to need chiropractic care, they're already on the wait list, right? There's so many different ways to do this, but you want to think it through. Okay, you run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Groupon ads, any of that kind of stuff. You can obviously SEO for your website. I think maybe you guys mess with that. I'm not sure. But obviously SEO, driving people, for Shockwave and that kind of thing. You can do marketing to bring people in specifically for Shockwave, like we were just talking about with Dr. Miller's office. And the question comes up, who does the consultation? So if you're trying to bring it all up under, I'm going to do everything with everyone who needs it, it would probably be the doctor. But like in Dr. Miller's office, he just simply cannot handle it weeks out in advance for new patients. So he has the technician person that does the consultation. They get them going on Shockwave, and then they drive them towards chiropractic and the other nutritional things. He's got a nurse, his daughter, that works in the office, and they do all kinds of gut and nutritional things. So all of it can work. You just got to be clear about how it works in your funnel. You can do externally outside talks. Again, in my world, series of talks are the best thing. Gustav, where would be some wonderful places for doctors to give talks?
Colleges would probably be a good one. Um, I mean, like you said, mentioned radio would probably be a good one as well.
Okay,
Um,
think about if my niche market is athletes, where could I give talks?
a gym. You can go to one of those pro sports gyms, or you can partner with the local baseball team, for example, as well. So,
Yep. So think of any sport that there is a team. I can go talk to them. Any team, tennis, football, mixed martial arts, taekwondo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, lacrosse. Like it doesn't matter. CrossFit, man, those dudes are hurting themselves all the time, right? They're just pushing the limit beyond. Other doctors that don't do that. I don't do this, I do that. Well, I don't do that. Great, we can cross-pollinate with them.
yeah.
Build relationships with teams, clubs, CrossFit, other kinds of doctors, tribe leaders. But there's a zillion people out there hurting themselves all the time. That if you could get in front of them, if you could co-sponsor talks with, if you could become the team doc or the go-to person, right? Yoga. I mean, it's you could never handle the load if you just look in your area. And then, of course, there's just doing a special outside flyer. Now, I have a very specific document that I will send you. If you go to that link and you join the club, send me an email immediately and say, I want your internal, external document. But here's the challenge, Gerhard. Here's the challenge when I talk to my doctors about getting flyers out. And I say, think about your practice right now. How many patients are coming in? How many flyers do you think you could probably get out? What do you think the most common answer is?
Probably not enough, because the issue what we're having right now is we know how good the technology is, but the public does not know. Patients do not
Exactly.
know that there is a solution for them.
Yeah, you stole my thunder. The answer is not enough. But most offices will tell me, well, I could probably get like 200 or 300 flyers out. And I go, okay, that's cool. But what if we wanted to get 10,000 flyers out? 10,000 flyers
Yeah,
out.
probably takes a little work to get, but then a lot of printing and a lot of people to hand them out.
Yeah.
But
And
the message needs to be precise. So if you don't get the right message to the right people, all the flyers wouldn't do anything for you.
wouldn't do anything. But if you do have the right message, what I am saying is don't get it out to 200 people or 300 people, get it to 10 or 20,000 people. You'll have a very different response. I guarantee it. So I have a very particular process of, and I basically say if for every thousand you don't get out, we cut off a finger. What would you do to make sure you got 10,000 flyers out? I'd be really sure because I play flute and I don't want to not be able to play flute. So I have a very 6-page document where I go into an extreme detail of exactly how to get the flyers out where people will actually see them. So that's called the internal external document. And if you do want that, just jump into that club and let me know. Okay. So that's internal and external. Obviously, could you do radio? Yes. Could you do TV? Yes, you could do those things. Most of us don't, but some of us do. Okay. Before we jump into reactivations, and we're almost done here, is there anything else from external that you guys would want to add?
No, I mean, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I like your analogy from the previous one where marketing is just fishing. The more lures you put into the water, the more likely you're to catch a fish.
Yep. And I'd rather fish out of a barrel than out of the ocean.
100%.
Let's get clear about the niche market. So reactivations, as Gerhard was bringing up, look, you've got all these people that have seen you in the past, and many of them like you a lot. They just don't think they need you right now. But if you were to let them know they already like you and they trust you, if you were to let them know why you're so excited that you've got this new technology that can help with these kinds of things, then all of a sudden you might be able to reactivate these people. So let everybody know, whether it's emails, regular snail mail, texting, whether it's social media, it doesn't matter. Do as much as you can. Give them an offer to come into the talk. Let them know we're having a grand opening launch where we're giving a special opportunity or a special offer. Come in for a demonstration, come in to experience it. You guys have all kinds of email templates for that. So again, and it's not one and done. Just remember, especially if it's an email, the odds of them opening that email are slim to none, right? So every month for the next 5 or 6 months, send one out. Hey, we're so excited we're launching this. Hey, just in case you missed this, we've just launched this. Hey, gosh, we've been so full. Sorry, we haven't reached out to you. We've been too busy, but we now have some spaces opening up in case you haven't checked this out yet, right? It's the day they wake up with something going on, happen to see your email and say, Kismet, this is amazing, right? Wow, this just showed up and that's what I need to do. So don't be afraid to do it more than one time. Anything else on that, guys?
No, I just want to add that, yeah, you mentioned this, Dr. Rosen. We have a fantastic marketing team. We have a fantastic layout of different flyers, documents. This depends from your website for some email blasting. So the best way is if someone needs some marketing material, some support, reach out to our marketing team at marketing@kinasmedical.com, and we're happy to support and assist everyone.
Yeah, good stuff. I went through it all. Okay, so in the end, who's my niche market? What's the sticky message? As Gerhard was just saying, if the messaging isn't right, it's not going to work. And then how do I get it in front of the right people? There's an internal, external reactivation, and then social media. Now, we had talked a bit about the bundling. We did a lot in the last one. I just want to hit this piece, even though we did last time. So if you're just starting right now using your Shockwave, start right inside your practice. You've got all these people right here, right now that could benefit from what it is you do. Are there some that may not be a candidate? Yes. So what do we do with them? Don't worry, just don't talk to them about it. But most people are going to be a candidate, one level or another. Now, I've had doctors that are afraid. They've said to me, I've crashed my practice before when I've brought something in, blah, blah, blah. Then I just say, dip your toe in the water, right? Because if you're not certain, it's a white belt breaks their hand, the black belt breaks the brick. If you're not certain, wait till we get you certain. So just cherry pick a handful of people. Take people you know are classic. This is what they need, or they're your inner circle. And you can say, hey, I'm bringing this and I'm really excited about it. There's tons of research on it. I'd love to be able to do some sessions and see how you respond. You can also do, like I'm doing a pilot study. Is this my number one recommendation? No, not at all. My number one recommendation is take a deep breath, jump in with both feet. But I've had doctors that say, I just don't want to do that. Great, then just cherry pick, right? So you just cherry pick your present people and just get it going with them until you start to have the confidence that you can tell people and that they're just going to do it because you said so. It's really all about your confidence. So let the inner circle know, possibly do a study or something like that. Again, all new patients coming in, if they're a candidate, I'm going to let them know. Only Shockwave, only chiropractic, or naturopathy, whatever it is that you do, both together, chiropractic and one Shockwave, to see if it would be of benefit to you. Chiropractic, and in a month we'll do a reevaluation, or the other way around, like Dr. Miller does it. Only Shockwave, And in a month, we'll see if you need some chiropractic care, but we'll get you on the wait list. Those are things that you can do right off the bat. Get a series of talks going. Do demos. This is magic. When the whole crowd sees, oh my God, that's so big. When the whole crowd sees that, they're pre-sold, right? All you have to do is ask the right questions. You know, is it all better? No. How long did you have it? Right? Inflammation. Like that's all you have to do.
And then I would suggest, if you picked an inner circle, make sure once you get those patients better, that they basically take this message out to their family, to their friends, whoever they know that have similar or any discomfort. Let them know that you have this great technology, Shockwave Therapy, available to get them to see you as well.
Absolutely. And there's a window of opportunity. When they're feeling better, there's a window of opportunity. And you got to know how to ask for referrals. Here's a hint. Ready? Do you happen to know anyone who you think might benefit from this? That's not the right thing to do. That is not the right thing to do. If you want to know the 3 steps of exactly what to do, the exact questions to ask them, go to the link, go into the free group, the free club, and I have my how to get the referrals broken down exactly how to do that. Again, if you guys want to have me go into a much more detailed version of that at some time, I'd be happy to do it. But it really is a very specific series of questions that you have to ask. And then the last piece is, once you start seeing the results, and you will because it works, once you start seeing the results, then you stop really thinking of it as something other than, I'm a chiropractor, but I also do Shockwave. In my world, it's an umbrella. The umbrella is I help people get healthy, stay healthy, and have the best life possible. How do you do it? I use a ton of different techniques. I use neuroemotional work. I use specific chiropractic, non-force, forceful, blah, blah, blah. I use nutrition. I use brain-based work. I use Shockwave. Can you guys see mine over there? It's right behind there. You can't see it. I use Shockwave. Like, these are the things I do to help people get healthy and stay healthy for a lifetime. And you will start to recognize that very, very soon, and it won't feel like it's something separate. And that's when it will all come together, and it will separate you from the herd. The last thing you want to do is have people, be thinking, well, I can go to the joint down the street and they're $24 for a visit, and you're 75 or 100 or 150 or whatever. That's a seahorse and a sawhorse. Those are not the same thing. I need to separate from the herd and help them understand we're helping you resolve issues. We're not masking your symptoms. And Shockwave can help you resolve all kinds of things that honestly, just whatever you do alone, it's probably not going to do. That's my route.
100%. Yes, 100%, Dr. Rosen. And then, like, if you see that you be on a good track, become more an expert. Maybe you can get a little additional training, for example, to become even better.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, whatever it takes for us to be the expert, so we know it, right? And then almost everything we just talked about doesn't matter. You're just full. I mean, the part about how to ask for referrals, but that's my goal. Within 1 year, you're no longer doing any marketing, any outside marketing. It's just inside talks. It's just letting people know and giving them an opportunity to refer their family and friends. Because the truth of the matter is there is more demand than you can ever serve. They just don't know about you because you're the best kept secret in town.
Correct. And just love what you're doing. And then it comes to you.
Absolutely. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.